back so I can see you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are here today, and we have the lovely PADS AFD Milan, who has graciously um, graced us with her sleepy presence, and her partner, Vivian. So hopefully you can all see Milan there when Vivian starts to talk in her dark coat on the dark couch. But so welcome, Vivian. And I'm just going to start off by asking you to tell me a little bit about how is it you came to become a PADS client? Like, how did you wind up at PADS?
Well, probably my story is probably similar to a lot of handlers that have AFDs like Milan. It all started with Kib and Caber. I remember when that hit the media and what a big deal it was. And I immediately thought, I think we could use a dog here. I work exclusively with children that have to testify in criminal court. And I thought it would be a super great addition to our workplace. It didn't work out at the time until about 4 years later. I got an email from my director saying, "Hey, you still interested in being a dog handler?" And I went, "Yeah." I didn't think about it. I just sort of went, "Yeah," applied, waited, and got Milan about a year later. So I think a lot of people, it never occurred to anybody until Kim and Caber, of course.
Yeah, our pioneers, the two of them. So yeah, they've had a tremendous impact, and Puma kind of continuing on that work now. And how long have you been partnered? How long have you had Milan now?
It'll be 4 years on July 11th.
Wow. Awesome.
It seems like it's a lot longer than that, and yet it seems like it's still like, it seems like a long time, and then it doesn't seem like a long time all at the same time. It's kind of weird. She just turned 7 on Sunday, which I also kind of find hard to believe, but I don't know. I guess working with an AFD, you kind of get into this little time warp if you can't believe how much time has actually passed, because working with these dogs is like no work at all.
Yeah. So for those of you that are just tuning in and joining us, we're here. We've got PADS accredited facility dog Milan, who is snoozing over Vivian's shoulder there, if you're having a hard time seeing her, our dark dog, and Vivian, who is her partner at Manitoba Justice. And so if you're just tuning in, please feel free to post any questions you might have in the comments. We would love to answer your questions. And I'm going to make Vivian field most or all of them if I can. And but in the meantime, while people are posting questions here, tell us a little bit about the work that Milan does with you. Like what does an average day look like for Milan?
Well, a pretty average day for us is meetings with my clients. The majority of my clients are children under the age of 18. I also work with vulnerable adults and adult survivors of sexual abuse. And the kids that I work with, they go to police with similar kinds of allegations. So I carry a caseload of about 200 active files that I follow from the time the charge is laid to whenever the court matter is concluded by whichever means that happens. So our day consists of, sometimes we spend a lot of time in the office. I do my stuff on the phone. She sleeps and snores. We have a lot of meetings with my clients, meetings to prepare them for court, meetings for various reasons. So we could have a typical day of 2 or 3 meetings in a day. When we're not in meetings, we spend a lot of time in court. A large part of my job, beyond keeping guardians apprised of what's going on with court matters, a large part of my job has always been to sit in court with kids when they testify. I've been doing that for about 17 years, and Milan is the perfect accompaniment to help me in that job. So sometimes we're in court all day. Sometimes we're in court for days on end. Sometimes it depends. If we have a case with multiple people coming to testify, we could be in court for 2 weeks straight, or we could have no court for 2 weeks straight. Our schedule is dependent on our court matters that we're assigned. So some days are much busier than others, and some days aren't so busy at all. It really depends on what's going on with court and what we have to do for our clients.
that sounds one both fascinating and amazing, but also challenging at times. So
Yeah.
do you want to tell me a little bit about, I know certainly doing the kind of work you do, it's not something that everybody is cut out for. I would say the same is true of our dogs as well. Like we select these dogs really carefully. How do you manage kind of the mental health for Milan in terms of, if she's in court all day, what does kind of decompressing look like?
Decompressing for Milan. Milan is super uber duper low energy. She has been since the day I got her. That's just the way she is. She walks slow, her pace is slow, she's super calm, she's super sweet, she's super sensitive. So her favorite thing, if anybody has ever seen anything I post on Milan and social media, a great stress reliever for her is I take her across the street to our legislative building at lunchtime and I let her off leash and she runs, not to fetch anything. She's a retriever fail. She's an epic retriever fail, but she will run and slide all over the grass. She'll slide all over the snow. She'll do things like that to expel some of that energy, because when she's in court, sitting with me, with my clients, she's just laying there. She's not getting up and she's not moving and she's not doing anything. So that's a lot for a dog to sit in court all day, sometimes, more than one day at a time, to just maintain that really good, perfect behavior. So that's the really good stress release for her. We walk to work every day. I find walking super helpful. I don't know if she always does, because she's like, oh my God, can't we just drive one day? I give her stuffed Kongs. That's a good one for her. It takes her a lot of time to eat her dinner when I freeze it and put it in the freezer. Bully sticks, something that she can chew on to release some of that energy. A lot of it, when we get home, she's just really tired and she eats supper and she just crashes. She'll need, if she's had a particularly long day or long days, or if our client has been particularly upset, if it's been a really emotional day for our clients, it's an emotional day for her, and she might need some extra cuddles from me when we get home, which I gladly give her. And when she feels like she's had enough, she'll get up and leave and go do her own thing. So there's a few things that she finds really helpful, but I think probably resting is her number one thing. She gets home, and sometimes I get home from work and I'm just done. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to do anything. I just want to relax and crash. And that's exactly what she does too. So I always have to watch her during the day to make sure she's okay, to make sure that she's not checked out of the process and that she's still willing to engage and do her really important job.
Yeah. It sounds like you two are well matched in that way. I'm always, when I hear people describing how their dogs decompress, it's always quite interesting to hear how it kind of parallels the person they've been matched with as well. So
Very much so. Yeah.
it's very, very cool. So I love how she's just like, let me get comfortable here. Clearly, I don't need to do anything. Just gonna
And
let
she
my head
tends
on.
not to like the camera anyway. Like I pull up my phone and she'll look away. So, and she's tired. So,
And she's tired. She's like, it's been a
yeah.
lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, we've got a few people just saying hello. So Lise is saying hello, and Heather Furlot, and a few people just commenting they've been following you for a while. I'm just amazed by the kind of work that you do. For those of you that have just tuned in, it looks like we've got a few more people online. We've got Vivian and Milan here talking with us today. If you have any questions for them, please post those in the comments, and we will answer them kind of while we're on air here. Favorite treats, toys, people?
She isn't really a toy dog. She has a box, like a big wooden box full of toys that she's been given over the years at birthday parties, and she doesn't really play with them. She's not the kind of dog that's going to squeak the squeaker out of a toy and destroy it. When other dogs are around, she's interested in toys. Like when I had my beagle, they would play together, but I don't have my beagle anymore. So unless she's around other dogs, she doesn't really play with toys. She has a favorite stuffy that she sleeps with. She likes balls, but like I say, she's a bit of a retriever fail. She's not like Merlot, who will chase a frisbee and pick it up and pick it down. She doesn't, yeah, she doesn't really play with a lot of toys. She just likes to really do her own thing. She's really her own dog. She does anti-dog things, running, rolling on the grass, not really a toy player.
That's funny. Yeah, I have one that is like grass rollies are the be
Yeah.
all end all. It is where the world starts and stops. So
And I have people, because she does it all the time, and people are walking by. And I had one woman say to me a couple of years ago, because she looked at Milan having a great time, and just watching her do that, people just get a kick out of it, and it makes them smile, and it kind of makes their day. And I had one person say to me, you know what, I'm jealous of your life. Can I switch lives with you right now? Because you get to work with this awesome dog every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fairly common sentiment. And I don't know. I think watching them, I've seen some of the videos of her snow slides and grass slides and stuff. And I'm like, oh, to just have those moments of bliss, hey, where you're just nothing
And I
else.
yeah, and I hate the snow. Like, I'm from Manitoba. We all know about Manitoba winters. I can't stand winter, but she loves it. And so I'm learning to love it a bit more because she loves it so much. And I have to take her out, whether it's -40 or, plus 35. So she just makes me enjoy that weather that I don't actually really enjoy too much, which is good for me.
That's awesome. Um, are there other people that work with Milan? So do you have secondary handlers and
I do.
um, yeah, and how does she adapt to working with different people? Is it something that kind of comes naturally to her? Or?
She adapts pretty well. I've had two secondary handlers. The first one came to team training with us 4 years ago, and she no longer works in our unit. We have a very small unit. So I do have another secondary handler who's been around handling her for a couple of years, and she goes off happily. She was in a meeting with her just before we came to do this, and she goes off quite happily with Anne. She's always happy to come back and sit in her comfy bed and see me, but she goes to Anne's and she hangs out with Anne and her kids if I need someone to look after her. So she goes, she adapts quite well to that. Yep.
Nice. Well, we have a question from Ross and Veronica asking, does Milan want to greet people, or is she kind of one of those dogs that likes to have people approach her? So when you're working with clients, etc., does she seek them out, or is she kind of waiting for your cues?
I don't give her cues. Like, initially, when I started working with her, I would like, sometimes I give her cues, but I tend not to. Like, if we have a family coming to meet with us for the first time and they're all stressed out and anxious, I will, Milan knows her job, right? She knows her spot in court. She knows her job. She knows what she has to do. So when we go in and we're meeting with people for the first time, she will just figure out who in this group of people needs her the most, and she will go to that person. I don't tell her, oh, go see, child A over here, who's our client. She will kind of suss out who's the most stressed out, and she'll go to that person. Sometimes it's the kid, a lot of times it's the parents, and she chooses who needs her the most in that moment. She'll do her thing and she'll sit with them and they'll pet her and they'll be all, happy, and it relaxes them. And once she's done with that person, she'll go hang out with somebody else. So I don't make her go to a certain person, and she will happily go and greet people because she loves people. Some of her favorite people are some of my clients, past and present, all of my coworkers, uh, judges, lawyers, everybody's her favorite people. She's a people dog, and she will happily go to them. But when she does her actual job, she goes to who she feels needs her the most, and she's usually always right.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our followers just said, I love she knows her job. That's really special. And I would agree. I think it's one of those things. It's one thing to take a dog into a room and go, okay, we're here to help person X. And kind of cue the dog to go kind of sit with that person. But I think what is quite magic about these guys that often there's a lot of misunderstanding around how our accredited facility dogs work and what makes them super special. And I think there has also been a bit of a myth amongst kind of even our own PADS community that, the AFDs are the dogs that didn't make it as service dogs, and nothing could be farther from the truth. These are dogs that show us that they have this very rare quality that they can walk into a room and not only want to engage with people that are upset, but actually be able to pick up on things that the humans can't. So,
Yeah.
um, it
Yeah,
was,
definitely. Yeah. She can, I mean, I've been a social worker for over 20 years, and I think I can talk to just about anybody about anything. But there's only so much that my words can do for my clients. And what she brings out for them is it's just a joy to watch. And it's a really, really beautiful thing. And you know, AFDs like Milan, I mean, they help hundreds of people, like the Merlots and the Cabers and the Milans and Lucas and everybody that's out there. They touch hundreds of people, and they go through journeys with people at like probably one of the most difficult times of their lives, having to come to court and talk about something terrible that happened to you. And they come back and do it day after day after day after day. And, you know, the person she met with today is going to get the same treatment from her as the person tomorrow. And that's the really, really beautiful thing about the work that these dogs do, because, I mean, they can do things that I just can't do in my limited human capacity.
yeah, it was actually Tia Merlot's partner that said at one point, I knew the dog would help me do my job. I didn't know she would be better at it than I was.
That's
And
exactly right. That's
it's
exactly
just,
right.
they
Yeah.
bring a whole different
Yeah.
ability into kind of the mix. So,
Yep.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's very cool. Any fun stories that you can share about situations where she really shone, or does anything stand out to you kind of over the years working with her?
You know, funny things, I don't know, like just really neat things about how she connects with people. We were at our local child advocacy center a couple years ago, and we were sitting in our office, and I'm busy working on the computer, and she was just laying there, and she's so good and she's so quiet. I mean, I just know she's always there, even though, I mean, she doesn't get up and leave ever, except for this one time. She got up and left, which she literally never does. And she went around the corner and she went into somebody else's office. And I didn't notice right away that she had left because, well, she's so quiet. I mean, she never barks, she never makes a noise, and I was busy. And then I turned around and she's not there. And right away I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, where's Milan? Did I leave her somewhere? Like, what happened? Where did she go? Because it was really unusual behavior for her. So I get up and I go around, and she's in this other office. And I'm like, well, what are you doing in here? And there was a person in this office who wasn't a staff member, but was actually, I think, a police officer, maybe CFS worker, who was in there and was talking to the staff. And she was talking and she was upset because she'd had to put her dog down about a week before. And Milan in our office knew this was going on and got up and was sitting with her to make her feel better.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And that's just what these dogs do. It's absolute magic. And she's done that at different times with different people, like not leave the office and go somewhere, but just her connection with people and her refusal to leave that person until she feels that they are good. And then she'll leave and go lay down.
Yeah.
So just really amazing things like that. And it's something that you almost have to see and feel to realize how important their work is. Because you can see something on video or you can see a photo and it's a really poignant photo and it's meaningful, but to feel the impact that these dogs have on people, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I think too, just that, I mean, we see it a lot of times. People are sometimes familiar with the term intelligent disobedience when it refers to guide dogs. So for example, you tell the dog to move forward. If they deem that it's dangerous, they will not obey the cue. And we do see it in our AFD dogs, where our service dogs, we want them to kind of obey all the time. With our AFD dogs, we're seeing that idea of, like Milan is in your office and it's somewhere where she's learned that she's supposed to stay, she's not supposed to leave. But then it's like, no, I'm actually needed somewhere. So I'm going to go do that thing. That's very cool.
And I'm
So
not going to tell you, I'm just going to sneak out, and then you can freak out about that once you find out I'm not there. I got work to do.
little brat, I got a job to do, Mom. You do you. I'll go do me.
That's right.
So that's very cool. Yeah, somebody's just commenting. My favorite picture of Milan is in the driver's seat of a police car with the officers in the back seat. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I don't know if I've seen it, but
I don't think that's Milan.
oh,
I have a picture of her in a sheriff's van. I don't think she's been in a police car. Maybe
I
that's
wonder if
Merlot.
I think it might actually be Del Rey, because I know she did a series.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a series on
Yeah.
of posts about the handler. So Del Rey kind of telling kind of
Yeah.
things from the other side. So maybe that's what it was. But
I think it's Del
I was
Rey.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I missed that one. Anyway, anything else you want to share with us about this amazing girl? I know you said you can talk about her all day. So
Like, I don't know what I can share with her to even give people an idea of what an absolute joy it is to work with a dog like Milan. She has made my job better for me. She's obviously made my job better for my clients. About a year after I got her, we were walking through the law courts, and like every handler will tell you, I walk into work in the morning and everybody says hello to Milan and ignores me, which is fine. That's totally fine. But I had one defense lawyer come up to me, and he said that she was the best thing to ever happen in this house of misery. And I mean, I just think that's what it is about these dogs. And I would encourage anybody that working in this field to apply to get a dog, because that dog was going to change your life and is going to change the culture of your workplace in a really, really, really positive way. I can't say enough about it, and I'll be forever grateful to PADS and the whole community that put that much work into her, because she's literally the perfect dog.
yeah. And I think, you know, we have, I will not be shy about saying we have extraordinary dogs, but I also think that a big part of the magic, even just in this interview, I mean, I've heard the stories of Milan over the years, but even just kind of hearing just how well she's matched to you and to her job. I think there's a certain magic in that. And you know, I think our team is really, has just gotten better and better and better over the years at knowing what makes a really, really good match. So, and you know, I think for a lot of us, we can't really imagine the kind of things that you deal with on a daily basis in terms of the work that you do. And just very grateful that there are people out there like you and dogs like Milan that can kind of step into that space and kind of meet people on their worst day. So thank you for that. And I'm just going to flip back here and just see if there's any more questions. I don't think so. So I'm just going to wrap up by saying if anybody wants to follow Milan on social media, she is on Facebook at PADS AFD Milan, or if you are on Instagram, she is Canine Milan.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So so either of those places you can go and follow her adventures and zoomies and absolute sweetness. So thank you both so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's lovely to get a little glimpse into what you do and what Milan does. So thank you for sharing your stories, and thanks everyone for tuning in with us. We appreciate having you here.
Okay. Sorry that Milan slept the whole time.
It's just what she does. It's
Just
all
what she
good.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. Bye, Milan. Hope you're having some good dreamies back there.